Welcome to Whiskey and Whitetails, where the shots are either on target or on the rocks. I'm Gus.
Please don't stop doing those. I'm Matt.
Thank you to our Patreon for their loyal and outstanding support. All the ways they support us and help, especially those executive producers. Thank you to you, the listener, for checking us out, supporting, sharing, all the things that you do to keep us motivated to keep doing these things. And of course, thank you to the Waypoint Network for having us. We have a good one today. Go over some fun stuff that's happened over the last couple weeks or week, I guess, not couple weeks. A fun fun tale, interesting story from Mr. Matt.
Stupid story that should never happen to anyone. And this guy's a fucking asshole. Oh, opening sentence cuss word. Also, we know we're both wearing white shirts. That wasn't planned either.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
But it is what it is. You adapt and you overcome when you have situations like this. Much like James Bond might, if he were out doing the thing, if he was real. So
Yeah.
when you're on a mission, precision isn't just a preference, it's a necessity. Whether you're stalking your prey in the wild or simply perfecting your aim, the tools you choose can mean the difference between success and failure. At Vantage Point Archery, they understand the importance of accuracy. Their broadheads are engineered and with unparalleled precision, ensuring that when you take the shot, you hit your mark every time. Made from the finest materials right here in the United States, Vantage Point Archery broadheads are as reliable as well-timed martini, shaken, not stirred. Visit vparchery.com and arm yourself with the sharpest edge in the field. After all, in this game, there are no second chances.
Powerful. Much like the stock market currently. Good afternoon, esteemed clients. Today, we're not just talking about wise investments and stocks and bonds. We're discussing an asset that delivers unparalleled value straight to your pocket. Introducing Mint Mobile, a service where frugality meets quality. Imagine reducing your mobile services costs up to 50%, and that's not just savings. That's sound financial strategy. Mint Mobile operates on the nation's largest 5G network, ensuring you stay connected. Whether you're closing deals in the bedroom, boardroom, or analyzing market trends on the go. The plan starting at just $15 a month. It's a no-brainer. Imagine reallocating those savings to your portfolio or even increasing your contribution to your Roth IRA. Mint Mobile is prepared, meaning you pay up front. Lock in the savings and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with a fixed flat rate. No surprise fees, no unpredictable expenses. So why not let Mint Mobile be the smart choice for your communication needs? It's like having a high yield savings account in your pocket, yielding returns with every text, call, and data byte. Best wisely, choose Mint Mobile, and you go to mintmobile.com/whiskey to get started.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, enjoy the show this week.
Yeah.
It's a goodie.
Yep. Goes by quick. All right. Bye. I believe so. Sweet shirt, dog.
Yeah. That's finished up the last episode with almost an identical ad read and then show up today with both with a white t-shirt on. What's funny is I looked at my hats and I was like, he's got one. Let's put the Whiskey and Whitetails hat on. He's probably got something else on. Never considered shirts.
Yep. I don't wear white very often. I did laundry today, so I was going through and I was like, let me throw a bunch of shit away. I was like, I never wear white shirts. Let me throw a white shirt on.
Yeah.
So here we are. We look like prison talk.
Prison Talk Radio, episode 1.
What's up, convict? Man, offshore yesterday was rough.
Yeah, man. We were gonna record this episode the day before we're recording it now, and I knew you were out early, so I figured you'd hit me up whenever you had service again. And it got later in the day, and I was like, maybe he came home and took a nap. He's probably tired early morning, so I was like, hey, man, you're probably cooked. Just let me know if you want to record tomorrow instead. And there was no response for a while. And you're like, I just got service back. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it was at like 5:30, I think. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We got there at 4:30, I think. I think 4:30 is when I got there. And then we left, and great ride out. So we went out on when people go offshore, like typically you see these big sport fishers, and this was a 24-foot SeaFox with a single engine on the back, which most people would not take offshore. But I'm a risk taker, and this guy was like, hey, we're not going to be anything too stupid. He's like, I got a new child, and like, I'm not going to risk. I was like, no, I mean, I wouldn't have come if I thought we were going to risk our lives for fish. Like, I never thought that was the thing. But it was very calm when we left. I think it was 1 foot at 12 seconds, and you usually want to be like 3-to-1 ratio,
Yeah.
and that's well over that. So it was very calm. We went out there, and it's like a 3-hour ride to go 60. I think when I checked on Onyx, it was like 67 miles out.
Yeah.
Which is pretty far in a boat. It's actually as far as you can go from the port of Charleston. So if you come out and just head towards England, that's as far as you can go. We pretty much rode up and down the military line that you're not allowed to cross.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So we kind of rode them down that and did some trolling for a while, and beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Saw a giant leatherback turtle, saw bunch of fly fish, which those were cool. Watching them kind of like skip off the bow. Saw a bunch of stuff. We didn't really catch anything out there. But yeah, it was like a 3-hour ride out, 2.5-hour ride out, I'd guess, maybe something like that. And then we floated around for, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours, and then we decided to go bottom fishing. So we rode back about an hour, bottom fish for a couple hours. We lost a ton of gear.
Jeez.
We're fishing like reefs where they dumped like subway cars and barges and stuff like that, like out in the middle of the ocean. And so we fished a bunch of that stuff. We just lost tackle on that, and the water was crystal clear. And I kept thinking, like, if you could dive down 100 feet here and you felt safe doing it, you could get a bunch of money in fishing tackle because I bet there's a ton of it down there.
No doubt. Like those people that go dive for golf balls on golf courses.
Yeah.
And then take them out, clean them, and sell them as little, like, grab bags of Titleist and Top Flight or whatever the expensive brands are these days. I don't even know anymore.
I don't either on golf. But then we headed back, and the water had kind of gotten a little rough, so it was a rough ride home. It was like just supposed to be 2-ish hours, and ended up being over 3. And I'm not drinking right now, so fishing sober. I think I was thinking about it yesterday, and I think that's the first time I've been fishing sober. That's definitely the first time I've been offshore sober in my life. But I think it's the first time I've been fishing sober in 20-some years, probably.
Yeah, it makes for well, that's a long time getting beat up on the water, man.
Oh yeah.
If you've never experienced that before, if you've never been out on open water on a smaller vessel and gotten your ass rocked for an hour or plus, it's not something you look forward to doing anytime soon again.
Yeah.
There's a reason the boats that they take offshore are big boats.
Right.
Yeah, there's a reason for it.
It's so expensive to go offshore. I mean, it's just so expensive. I mean, it's like I have friends that have their parents have these bigger boats, and it's $2,500 to go offshore for a day from the same time period we were out for 10, 11 hours.
Right.
It's about $2,500.
I
think we did all this in 30. We used 40 gallons, I think. So whatever the price of gas is.
Yeah. Fuel's not cheap. And you're never just going out on a bigger boat like that. You're not just going out by yourself, right? You've got a group of people. So you've got to consider in money for entertaining and drinks and snacks and alcohol. And then if you're fishing, tackle for those kind of fish and bait's not cheap either.
Right. But it was, it's definitely cheaper to go that way. It's just, yeah, I like going. I think it's fun. But, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, and it's like, I think my days on the water are limited. There's probably not many of those left.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I've been here. This is going on 15 or 16 years. I can't even remember anymore that I've lived in the Charleston area. I have no desire to go offshore, just or fishing it just doesn't do it for me like it used to. You know what I mean? Like it's just not my. Ooh, I want to do that. I'll go fish some ponds and creeks and rivers and pull out little bass and that kind of thing all day long, but. Not interested.
I like to eat the fish. Like I like tuna.
Yeah, I'll eat it.
I wanted to go get some tuna. That was I'm down for that because I love tuna. Right. But it's definitely cheaper to just go buy some tuna.
Yeah. I guess so.
But yeah, I woke up this morning, man. I feel like I was in a fucking car accident. My whole body hurts. And I did back at the gym on Friday. So my back is like, I don't know if I broke it, if it's like broken in half or not. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It was either a really good gym workout or the boat.
I fucked up my neck the other day. It's been Not good.
I was gonna say I haven't seen you in a few weeks, but I got on Facebook for something, and I had a notification, and it was on your page. Like I clicked it, and I was looking at there's a picture of you wishing your wife a happy birthday.
Mhm.
Is that a new picture?
Um, I don't know. I'd have to see it, but yeah, probably.
No, you can tell like you lost a lot of weight in that picture.
Yeah. Um, yeah. It's obvious. It's a little clearer in some pictures than others, obviously.
Yeah,
But yeah, happens when you just stop eating shit, start moving more. It just kind of happens.
yeah. Who would have
Someone,
thought?
someone the other day was like, "You look like you've lost some weight. What have you been doing?" I'm like, "I just stopped eating shit, man. Started lifting weights." Oh, really? That easy? Pretty
Yep,
much.
yep. Are you still doing kind of carnivore ish, or just kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yep. Yep. I haven't. I've I've stopped. I will allow myself. Kids had some birthday parties and just got a birthday recently. Like I'm not going to deprive myself a small slice of cake with my kids on their birthday or anything like that. But
Yeah,
I'm also not eating half a box of pizza beforehand and a gallon of ice cream afterwards. That shit's just it doesn't even appeal to me anymore. And occasionally, I've had a couple times where I'm like, all right, yeah, I could eat a slice of pizza, and I get halfway through it, and I'm just like, nah, put it
yeah.
away.
Isn't that weird?
It's just not worth it, man. I feel like shit the next day for days afterwards, and
Hmm.
it is not worth it.
Hmm.
Not worth it. I found a sale yesterday at Aldi's. They sell these packs of ribeyes that comes two to a pack, and they're smaller ribeyes. They're not very big. They're probably 8 ounces, but it's like $11 for two of them. So I like spent like $88 on a bunch of those. Just
Yeah.
gotta keep it available. Keep it in front of you.
Are you
You
eating
don't
like
have an
one a
excuse.
day, or like what are you doing now?
Yeah, so a lot for like food wise, a lot of my mornings I'll have hard boiled eggs. So my history with eggs, like
Yep.
it's hit or miss. I've had years where they don't bother me at all. And then I had that episode a few months ago. I have found that I can pound hard boiled eggs no problem. So on the mornings I'll have a few of those. I've been working out fasted without eating. I found that I actually have more energy when I'm strict on carnivore. I have more energy before eating than afterwards. So I'll work out fasted and then I'll eat afterwards. And that first meal is usually 3 or 4 hard-boiled eggs, some Greek yogurt, and maybe a few like blackberries or raspberries, and then maybe some cheese or something to go along with that. And I have my element
Mm.
hydration stuff, and I'm usually nursing that throughout the morning. Sometimes I eat lunch, sometimes I don't, and then around dinner time, it's usually just whatever meat we have thawed and ready to go that night. Sometimes if I'm not too busy, we'll remember to set something out and prep it specifically for what I want to eat. But most of the time, it's whatever. If we're having like the last night, for example, we had tacos. Kids wanted tacos, so cooked a bunch of taco meat, and instead of having tortillas, I just make a taco bowl with the taco meat, cheese, sour cream, you know, guac. Done deal.
That's one of my favorite ones. Is the taco bowl. I put pork rinds in it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've done that before too.
Pork rinds, taco meat, sour cream, and cheese. And I
Yeah,
usually I'll take the meat first and put it in there, and I'll add some butter to it. Stir some butter in it.
there you go.
Then I put cheese on it, melt the cheese in there, and then top it with sour cream and crumble up
Yep.
pork rinds. And like I love that. It's such an easy, simple meal, and it tastes
Yeah,
good. Lots of flavor.
and do my blood work. So I haven't gone and done like any full panel blood work, but I go once a month and they test my hemoglobin for the TRT stuff.
Yeah.
The last 2 times I've been, um, I have been right at where they want me, and I've given blood anyways just to keep myself, below that range. But they're like, you don't have to keep coming as long as you're here. I'm like, no, I'm good. Like I enjoy the oil change. It feels it feels good. So,
Yeah.
um, but that didn't happen. Like that stabilization of that didn't happen until I got on carnivore.
So mine just happened. I just did it. And it's funny because I was on carnivore for like 6 months, maybe, I guess, maybe longer than that. But like I got a reminder on my phone because usually it's like I start to feel that we've talked about this before. We can't really explain the feeling. It just feels like your chest is kind of heavy. I don't know. You just
Yeah,
don't feel
tired.
normal.
No.
And I haven't had that feeling in a couple months. But I usually it's like I'm trying to find the blood connection because I'm not eligible for Red
Mm,
Cross for another 2 weeks. And it's like I can't wait
right.
another 2 weeks. I feel like shit.
Yeah.
And so I'll try to find blood connection and go do that. The other day I got my notification that it's been whatever the length of time. I can now
Hmm.
go donate. And I'm like, well, shit, I don't feel it at all. I feel
Yeah.
totally stabilized, but and I'm still taking the same amount of TRT. I haven't changed
Right.
that at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
It's been
weird.
fascinating to watch early on the big, I call them the macro changes, like the big changes happen,
Hmm.
right? You get the weight starts to fall off, the skin clears up, like the joint pain and stuff went away. But then the last month and a half or so, 2 months has really been like the micro things that have really started to change that I've
Hmm.
noticed. The things like my teeth. Like I don't ever feel like my teeth, you get the fuzzies on your teeth in the morning or at nighttime before you brush your teeth and get
Hmm.
ready for bed in the morning or when you wake up. Like my teeth never feel like that. My teeth always
Yep.
feel clean.
Same.
Um, just
I,
weird shit like that. It's just
Speaking of teeth,
wild.
I went to the dentist, what, Tuesday, Wednesday? I went Wednesday. And
Mhm,
I came in there and she like scraped. I have two teeth that kind of run together, like in the front, and she kind
mhm.
of scraped in between that and was kind of like looking around. She was like, She's like, "Did you start brushing twice a day and flossing like I told you?" And I was like, "No,
Not really.
still brushing." I know it's gross. I know a lot of people brush at night. I never have. I don't think it's the last thing on my mind. I don't even think about it. I brush first thing in the morning. I quit using fluoride. I use like an
Yeah,
all natural toothpaste, and I have like a soft brush, little toothbrush just from not eating shit, I guess.
yeah,
She's like, "There's really nothing to do in here. Your teeth look perfectly fine." And so the dentist came in and he was like, "Yeah, like all this looks good. Your x-rays look good. There's a point of concern here." And he started scraping around. He's like, "Oh, that's a filling that we missed. No, you're good. Everything's fine."
yeah.
And I was like, "Okay." And she's like, "You were so easy." She's like, "Thank you. I was so off track. I was gonna be late getting home today, but you just sped up the rest of my day because I just saved 45 minutes." And I was like,
Right. You're
"Okay."
welcome. Feel, feel free to credit my account.
Yeah, no shit. Like, well, luckily it's all insurance money. I don't care. I don't pay
Yeah,
for it.
no, but it'd be dope. If they were like, "Hey, I'm gonna cut you a check today." Like,
Yeah,
all right.
you did a good
That would
job,
be
so we're gonna
that
pay
would
you.
be an incentive, is
It
if
would.
medical, the industry paid you for being healthy when you came in, and
Hmm.
uh,
That would be. I
insurance
haven't.
companies should,
They
in
should.
fact, benefit. Do that as a benefit.
Well, that's
So
like
you're
when I
really
got my
healthy.
vasectomy. I got a check in the mail. I know you had to pay for yours.
Yeah, I did.
But it's like you have kids, and they're like, "Fuck this asshole!" Like, keep paying for kids. No, I
That's
got one, and they were like, "Yeah, let's go ahead and refund that,"
no,
and they did. They sent me a check in the mail. It's like, "Oh, well, that's cool."
that's good.
Yeah,
That's good. Yeah. Opening day. Should we get into that now, or do we have other stuff we want to talk about first? Do we did we talk about the when the hell was Camp Hero? Did we talk about that on the list?
we did not.
We didn't get a chance to talk about that, do we? Did you
I
want to
don't.
talk about any of that,
I'm
or
pretty sure we recorded that before I leave and left. Let's
I
do
don't even
Camp
remember.
Hero, and then
Yeah.
because once I
Yep.
start talking about this, it's gonna piss me off. So let's.
Okay. All right. Let's not do. Let's.
Because
How did
Gus
it
doesn't
go?
know anything about it. I know you're dying to hear it.
Yep. Been
It's
chomping at
still
the bit.
going on. I'm exchanging text right now. I got 3 that I need to read. Um,
Jesus.
so it hasn't stopped. All right. Camp Hero. Oh, yeah,
So
okay. So we
so
went out to good.
well, you made it out. I did not.
Yeah.
We both discussed going. I was supposed to be driving and number of things, but the flooding and everything between here and Kentucky and South Carolina was rough, and some sections of I-26 were shut down completely.
I saw
Other
pictures
areas
of
were shut down.
I-26 closed with people
Yeah,
like sitting there with water on the road.
and so we were concerned. I think we could have made it using back roads to get up there. My concern was as the time passes, the flooding gets worse, and I was afraid we were going to get stuck, like not being able to get home before the kids started school or had their back to school stuff. We just decided not to risk it this year. I was really bummed we didn't get to go, but I think it was a better choice for given the circumstances. But you flew, you made it in, and you
Yeah.
and Andy got to go do all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, we so I hit up Fitz, which is we met Fitz at um the Cooperage tour that we did. So he worked
Brown
for
Foreman.
yeah, he worked for Brown Foreman, and so we met him there, and then I ended up going to a Scotch dinner in Mount Pleasant one time, and he was there, and he was running like the whole thing, and I was like, "Holy shit! Didn't I meet you in Louisville?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm the new Brown Foreman rep for the Charleston area." I was like,
Nice.
"Well, what do you know?" So we ended up chatting, exchanged numbers and stuff, and so we've kind of just talked back and forth, and I kept telling him like, "I owe you for taking care of us when we came out there. Like, if you ever want to go get dinner," and I told him like him and his husband, like if y'all want to go do a double date, like whatever, it doesn't matter to me. like we're down.
Yeah.
And I hit him up and I was like, "Hey, I'm taking the wife to Louisville, blah, blah, and I want to." She's never done any distillery tour stuff, so I was like, I was seeing if because it's impossible to get into that stuff.
Hmm.
I was like, I want to see if there's any way you could kind of hook it up just for the wife and I, and then I got one person coming with me, which is Andy, my boss, and
Hmm.
so it's me and two Andys, which is cool. And he was like, "Yep, done." He's like, "You tell me when you're free," and I was like, "We're pretty much free from 11 a.m. on Friday until about 6 p.m. on Saturday." So he set up a Old Forester tour on Friday. I don't know, remember what time, and then he set up a. I told him that Andy, my boss, the guy who was bringing with me, I told him that he loves Woodford, so he was like,
Hmm.
"Well, we'll get a Woodford tour."
Nice.
I was like, "Cool." So I was like, "Thanks so much." And so we landed. We went there. First we went to Camp Nelson, went to Michter's, and it's like there was people in line, and I was like, "Fuck it, let's just go stand in line." I didn't know what they were in line for, so we stood in
Hmm.
line. The line opened. We walked in there, and they had Shanks bomb burgers and the 10-year rye, the
Mm.
fancy bottle with the wax on
Hmm.
it, just
Yeah.
sitting on the shelf in there. So I told the
What?
wife, I was like, "Get all three." So I brought all three home. I'm probably gonna sell them, but it's just one of the things. Like I couldn't not buy it. And
Yeah. I mean,
so if you want a Shanks or a bomb burgers, let me
the
know.
the likelihood that you end up in that place at that time to snag all those bottles,
Yeah,
not on secondary, it's probably not going to happen again.
right. And but yeah, so I got those, and then we went. I guess we went straight to Old Forester after that. I don't know. We just walked around Louisville. We went to all kinds of stuff. So we went to Old Forester, did a tour, went to this place, went to Angel's Envy. Then, like, I went to Angel's Envy and I was like, I want to get a drink. And I told the guy at the front, I was like, can we go to the bar without doing a tour? And he was like, mm, eh, yeah, just tell the lady up there, like, we're pretty slow today. And I was like, all right. So I walked in there. I was like, so the guy at the front said that we could go to the bar without doing a tour. And so she was like, we have like a secret bar. I was like, okay.
Do
So
tell.
I don't know this lady, don't know her from anyone. She doesn't know who I am. And I don't mean that in any way. I mean, like, we don't know each other is what I meant.
Right.
And so she was like, yeah. So they took us upstairs in this elevator, and the bar was fucking sick. It was really cool. So we hung
Nice.
out for there a little while. We stayed in storage containers, storage container facility, right? Where top floor, bottom floor were storage containers stacked on top of each other. We stayed on the
Yeah.
bottom floor. Pretty cool spot. And then
That's where that's your where your Airbnb
yeah, our
was.
Airbnb was, yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, it's right
That's
in
cool.
Nulu too. It's like
Okay.
downtown Louisville.
That's cool.
So it was fun. Then Saturday we went to Brown Foreman, and then we went to Wild Turkey, and I got to finally meet. I met everyone except Jimmy, so I finally got to meet Jimmy Russell. That was
Cool,
cool.
man.
I had him sign They had a 101 proof Kentucky Spirit in there that they had picked themselves. So I guess Jimmy had picked it.
Nice.
So that was cool. So I got that. I'll never get to taste it because I'm never gonna open that bottle.
Open that bottle. Yeah.
But yeah. So Jimmy signed it. I spent $562 in that store. I bought
Mhm.
yeah. We bought clothes, hats. I mean, because Wild Turkey's like, that's my thing. And
Yeah.
so it's Andy's thing too. So she bought this leather bottle bag, which we probably
Oh.
needed anyway. It's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spent a little coin in there. That's the most expensive thing of the entire weekend, believe it or
That
not.
that's good.
Um, and I'm not normally one to do that.
She's also not really had the opportunity to do any of those tours like that or
Right.
see that
She's never
stuff.
done it.
So,
Yeah.
um, and I meant to say this earlier, but like if you go to Louisville and you have not had an opportunity to do the Brown Foreman tour, of all the places that we've been there, it's my favorite thus far by far.
Yeah.
Like
It's really
put
cool.
that at the top of your list and go. It's really
The
cool.
Cooperage tour. Yeah.
Oh, the Cooperage tour for sure.
Yeah.
But out of the distillery tours
Oh,
that are
all the Brown Foreman ones.
that are
Right.
in
Yeah.
Louisville specifically that you can get to downtown, that's
Yeah.
my favorite.
Yeah. I like them too. I like them too. Brown Foreman is a really cool company. And they've been so nice to us. Like, we worked with a lot of companies, and Brown Foreman has always been like, whatever you need, we're here for you.
And never been like, can you guys create some content for us? Can you film? Can you
Yeah, they
do
don't ask
just
us for shit.
for shit? We get along. We had a great conversation whenever we met them at the Brown Foreman Cooperage, and they've just been super cool ever since.
Yep.
So,
4 facts. So then we went to Old Bourbon County Kitchen. If you've never been there, that's outside of Lexington. That's a great place. I've taken Gus there, or maybe the first time we all went was at the same time. I don't know. Have I been there before that time we went? I don't remember.
I don't remember, but I know that I think it was that we all went the first time
Okay.
together.
Yeah. So that place is awesome. Great food. And that's
Yep.
coming from a guy that eats in Charleston every week. So it's a really good food out there. So I went out there, and then we went and checked in, and we didn't really do much till the dinner started. I kind of just meandered around. You run into people at the hotel, so we ended up
Oh
talking
yeah.
and stuff. And I just didn't want to drink because I don't ever speak like that. So Rocco had asked me to speak and I don't I do public speaking, obviously, but I
Sure.
don't ever talk about my feelings and my internal shit. I just don't.
Right.
It's not something I do. So I didn't want to be drunk and doing it because of that, I was shaking like crazy. And if you've never heard me speak, you wouldn't have picked up on it. But I had you've heard it, that little crack in my voice I get. Usually when we start whiskey classes and up my first sentence or two, I'm
Getting warmed up.
yeah. Well, I did that the entire time through. It was shaking so bad it was hard for me to see my phone because I had printed it out, but because I had to read an entire page, I couldn't do it. So I had to do it on
Yeah.
my phone because otherwise I would have been where was I?
Yeah. Yeah. I get
But I
it.
mean, most of us are pretty used to reading our phone. But the speech went well. I got a standing ovation, which was
Nice.
pretty cool.
That's
Not
cool.
that that's what I was looking for, but I was glad to be able to speak that honestly and truthful about stuff.
Good.
And I do have it recorded just for you. I'm not ever going to post that anywhere.
I appreciate it, man.
But part of that had to do with you, so that some of you was in there. And after that, I felt like we were good. So I had some wild turkey in the room, brought that to the table,
Yeah.
and kind of shared it around some people. And then towards the end of the night, people started to leave, and everybody had an awesome time. It was cool to see people win stuff. And
Nice.
we had gone to Buffalo Trace that morning, and there was 300 people in line, by the way.
Jesus.
Yeah. But we were already there, so we're like, fuck it, we have nothing to do for the next couple hours. So we just stood
Yeah.
in line. But it was a Blanton's release day. So I posted on our story. I was like, nothing here worth buying today. Obviously I bought one, but we opened
Yeah,
it
of
and
course.
drank it that night. So
Nice. Good.
we killed a bottle of Blanton's with
As
a
it
couple
should
people.
be.
Yeah. It's good times.
As it should be.
And then Sunday morning, man, I went and looked at the property, and I met the neighbors that will be my neighbors potentially, and everybody was super cool. We kind of looked at a couple spots, and where we ultimately ended up saying that we want the house is not at any of those spots. So
Really?
I got to go back out there and walk it and see if we can make it flat.
Yeah.
I've talked to bulldozer people. I've talked to the county. I've talked to builders. I've talked to pretty much everybody I need to talk to at this point.
Nice.
I just got to make sure the ground perks, and then I guess it's time to go.
Nice. It's exciting.
Yeah, it is, but it's also
Daunting.
pretty serious. Yeah, I'm leaving. I'm getting out of the rat race. I'm giving up on goals and ambitions in my personal and professional career. I'm leaving to go, live in the woods.
I wouldn't say giving up. I think you're reprioritizing.
That's a good way to put it. Reprioritizing. Because that is what I'm doing. I've realized that I don't care about corporate America anymore. I don't care about the bustling city. I just don't. It doesn't suit me anymore. So yeah, I think you're right. Reprioritize.
You did it. I mean, you came here. You and
Yeah.
Andy have. You've gone all the places. You've eaten all the places. You've said yes to all the things, and now it's like you find your peace somewhere else, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's part of being an adult, and I think more people probably rob themselves of that realization and taking action on it than those that do. So kudos to you, my friend.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good way to look at it. That's true. I mean, it is true, and I'm not saying that I'm worried about doing this. I want to do it. It's just this is a very.
Well, it's also, I mean,
it's just taking that first
human
step.
nature. Yeah, it's a
doing
huge change, right? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That was the weekend, man. It was a good time.
Nice.
I guess now we can just go ahead and do it for for everybody that wants to know. Mainly you.
So
I know you want to know.
Yeah, I'm dying to know. So 3 days ago, South Carolina whitetail season opened. Deer opener. Mr. Matt made his way out to hunt on opening day. I did not. First time in several years I haven't, but it's okay. Turned out Matt had a great time.
Yeah. So some backstory. So one, I was not going to hunt this property, but my climber sticks were in there, which is fine because the place I was going is about 5 miles south of there. So I was going to
Mhm.
stop by there, grab my shit. Anywho, so this spot last year, our friend of ours, our lawyer, his boss owns this property on one of the islands here, and he was given permission to hunt it with a friend. Me being that friend, I
Mhm.
wasn't allowed to bring anyone else out there. It was just whenever Zach went to hunt, I would go hunt. And
Right.
that's the only name I'm going to mention for the rest of this story. I'm not going to mention any names. I don't know how many details I'm going to get into, but I'm going to say a few things. I'm just going to explain what happened. So I hunted there an entire year. Because I live right down the road, basically, as my I took the responsibility, like, hey, you're letting me hunt this place with you. I'm going to go change the batteries, put the corn out, do all this stuff. So I was more or less maintaining, and I don't
Mhm.
mean mowing and all that. Well, this year we had planned to till it up. We had talked about this earlier, and he was like, "Well, there's a guy that lives by there that mows it, and like I'll have him come mow it. And after he mows it, we'll go out there and we'll till up. We're going to rent a tiller.
Mhm.
Like we had plans to do all this stuff, and nothing really happened. Nothing came of it. But I did go put corn out, some mineral. I had cameras out there since probably June,
Yeah.
maybe May, something like that. So I've been monitoring the deer. There's really nothing out there. It's a bunch of does, fawns. There's a couple like 4 point. Because what was the joke I made on the 13th? Or the 14th. I said, "Who's gonna be like me and kill a spike tomorrow?" Because I was
Right.
joking. I wasn't actually gonna do it, but that's
Yeah.
all I had on camera. Like I could have gone out there and killed a 4 point
Yeah.
opening day, but I have zero interest in doing that. So I was not going there to hunt on opening day. That being said, I could have, as far as I was aware.
Right.
So here we are, August 15th, opening day. I work all day. I leave work and then I drive there to get my sticks to go hunt a different property because my climbing sticks and my platform are in there and they're right off the road. It wasn't that big of a deal. So I opened the gate like I always do, the code that I'm used to using. That's always worked. I did notice there was a sign, a no trespassing sign, and it had the guy's name on it that owns the property, which I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I'm glad he finally
Sure.
put signs up.
Right.
Because I've seen sign of people in there before, and I'm like, pretty sketchy. I've told you before, I was like, I don't really like being in there early in the morning because I'm worried that I'll be sitting in the dark and somebody's gonna walk up on me. Where it's hunting in the evenings, I'm not really that
Mhm.
concerned about it.
Yeah.
Anywho, that's all I noticed. I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, oh, cool, the guy came out here and put signs up. He must have had problems with trespassers. So I drive in. I get to like that T in the road. You've been back there before.
Mhm.
We filmed something out there one time with permission of the owner. We went to like this T in the road. And before I even get there, this side by side pulls up, and I'm like, "Who the fuck is this?" So I open my truck door and I look at him and I smile and I said, "Hello, sir." And he's like shaking his head, throws his arms out. I can't hear him. I got a Super Duty that doesn't have exhaust on it, so it's kind of loud. So I got out of the truck, and I am wearing designer jeans, and by designer I mean Ariat.
Mhm.
But still, they're $200 jeans. I am wearing an embroidered long sleeve button up shirt for the company that I work for. It is tucked into my pants. I am wearing a new leather belt. Well, not new, but a nice a work appropriate leather belt.
Yeah.
And then when I was at the gate, I put snake boots on. I took my cowboy boots off and I put snake boots on. That's what I'm wearing. So I get out of the truck and I walk in front of my truck, and there's a guy standing there in hunting gear, not necessarily camo, just like outdoorsy woods gear.
Sure.
He has a SIG 9mm SIG on his waistband on the left side of his body with an
Mhm.
extended magazine, like a micro SIG. I think you used to have one. Somebody
Okay.
we knew had one.
Yeah.
So I walk up to him. I was like, and by the way, unarmed. I didn't have a fucking knife on me because anyway,
Just came from work. Yep.
came from work. So I come in there and I go, "Excuse me, sir, do you have permission to be out here?" And as soon as I finish saying that, he starts cussing and yelling, like elevated voice, as loud as possible, cussing at me, screaming. I mean, just absolutely screaming at me. And I'm like staring at him, like, what in the fuck is going on? So I'm not going to repeat everything he said. I'm going to try not to cuss too much here. But that's all it was him cussing and yelling and screaming. I mean, I couldn't even get a word in. I'm like, please calm down. And he just cussed and yelled, like, you don't fucking belong, you fucking piece of fucking. And he's just going on and on and on. And I'm like, I can't even talk because he's just yelling. And I was like, I have permission to be out here. And he's like, you fucking don't. And just fuck it. And just going on and on and on. And I can't say anything. So again, I'm going to stop cussing, but that's what was going on. So I'm like, I do. And he's like, from who? And I tell him that I hunt out here with my buddy Zach, who works for this guy that owns the property. And he, again, cussed, no, you effing don't. You effing piece of effing F and just, gone, like, won't shut up. He's just yelling. And so then he reaches down and he touches, he didn't grab it by the handle, but he touched his pistol. And at that point, I buck up and I said, sir, I'll tell you this. If you don't calm down, because one, you're not going to talk to me that way. And two, you're not going to touch your waistband like that again with me standing here. Okay. And so he kind of backs up as though he's nervous. And I'm like, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to walk into the woods and I'm going to get my shit and I'm going to leave because I don't want to be here if you're here. And he said, no, the F you're not. And I said, what are you going to do to stop me? And he pulls his phone out and starts recording me. And I smiled, took a picture with him like, hey, what's up? My name's Matt. I have nothing to hide. I said, my name is Matt Green. I even told him my address, my phone number. I have nothing to hide. I have permission to be out here. I don't know who you are. I've never heard of you before. And I couldn't even get through that sentence because he's just cussing and yelling, telling me that I've ruined his opening day and he's been out here for 6 months and blah, blah, blah. And he promised the landowner, we said his name, but he promised the landowner, blah, blah. So I went to call our lawyer, right? Who's involved. That's Zach. So I go to call him and it goes straight to voicemail. He texts me back and he says, I'm in deposition right now. And I go, I can't get a hold of him. He just texted. He just like, I'm guessing it's an automatic thing. He just like saw me calling and clicked the button that says custom. I'm in a deposition. I was like, so I can't get a hold of him. So I responded back and I was like, I'm at the property and this guy out here keeps touching his firearm. I'm worried at this point to turn my back to him because I don't know what's going on. But he won't stop yelling and cussing. So he says that I'm trespassing. Then he says I'm a poacher. I'm out here poaching illegally, which, by the way, you have to kill something to poach it.
Right.
And then he says that he's going to file charges against me for trespassing. Well, I know in the back of my head that he can't because he's not the landowner. And I know the landowner, and the landowner is not going to press charges against me. Two, I'm not a poacher because I didn't kill anything. But I can't even tell this guy anything. He's just screaming and yelling and screaming and yelling. And so I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I'm trying to decide what to do. And part of me is like, you will never let another man tell you what you can and can't do with your property. And so I'm like, I'm going to go get it. I'm just going to go get it. But I'm not going to do it without a firearm because I'm going to have to walk past him. And I just don't trust him. He's acting like a lunatic. I mean, acting like a complete crazy person. I've never met anyone like this in my life. The pipes on this dude, man. So I'm sitting there staring at him and I said, listen, I've got a camera in this field. And he says, no, the fuck you don't. It's sitting on my kitchen table. And I kind of shut down for a second because this is where it starts to get fun. Because I thought, you fucking idiot. My camera's been acting up funny, right? The GPS like twitched. And I turned it off because it was acting funny. It was taking weird pictures. So the GPS I know exactly where his house is. Because it's sitting, my GPS is pinging from his kitchen table. So I did an on-demand picture like right after we left, and it's in like a game bag, like you would put ducks in, like a waterproof, like a water leaking game bag with holes in it, and I can see his whole kitchen through it. And I have the exact GPS coordinates, which, hand to God, I haven't done anything with that information, but I'm pretty sure I could overlay that to Google Maps and then pull county tax records and find out exactly who he is and what he drives and everything. I could do that, but again, I haven't because I'm not trying to be involved in this in any way. Right. I'm trying to let it blow over, but it's up to him at this point. So I ended up so Zach texted me back and he said, just leave. And I said, Roger that. And I said, I'm going to leave. And he was like, that's what I've been fucking trying to fucking get fucking. And I'm like, just back your fucking side by side up so that I can pull forward and then I will back into you. You can take a picture of my license plate and then I will happily leave. And so did I say what are you going to do about it part?
Yeah.
Okay. So he starts saying, I know this certain game warden in the area. He's like, we're childhood best friends and I'm calling him and you're going to get arrested for poaching and illegal trespassing. And I'm not worried about any of this because none of this shit happened. I did not know he was out there. No one told me that. Anyway, I'll get to all that in a second. So he realizes that he is indeed blocking me in. He is the reason I can't leave. And so I think that he was like a little nervous because I'm not like, I don't look like a pussy. And when I start raising my voice, like I mean, I've seen
Yeah.
many people back down from that. So he gets straight in a side by side and backs up. So I back up and I get real close to him and I open the truck door and I said, I want to make sure you put it in portrait mode and got a really good picture of the license plate. Like, you got it? And he goes, get the fuck out of here. I said, okay. So I get back in the truck and I leave. So Zach calls me and he's like, what happened now? And I tell him, he's like, dude, I totally forgot to tell you. They told me yesterday that they gave him permission to hunt and he doesn't want anyone else out there. And I forgot to tell you. And I was like, sick.
Cool.
So
Almost
Zach knew,
got shot
right?
because you forgot.
He knew on August 14th, did not tell me. I went out there. I don't think he also did not know that August 15th was opening day.
Sure.
He didn't know that. So I'm not really that worried about it. He's like, I'll end up telling Matt eventually. I got to figure out how to tell him because I know he's put a lot of time and effort out there. I'm not worried about it. So I did not know, right? So this guy texts Zach and is like, and Zach tells me, he says all this. There's been no screenshots. I don't have anything. And, but the guy's like, he was wrong. He knows it. You know it. And I know it. And Zach just said, listen, we apologize. We're not going to come back out there. He wants his stuff back, which I'm not getting involved. Again, I'm staying away from this. I'm just telling the story because it's my story to tell. But I would have never apologized to that asshole. I mean, ever. I wouldn't have. I didn't know he was out there. I didn't know anything about that, or I wouldn't have gone in there. But he's basically mad saying that I ruined opening weekend. But
He's also a thief. He has your equipment.
Exactly.
So you could press charges. You should.
I'm probably going to, because today I was supposed to get everything back. And I can pull it up right now and look and see where my camera is. Yep, it's still there. And so all day, look, I can show you in here. Like, see all these deer pictures?
Yeah.
Look at all these fucking deer. And he's saying that I ruined opening weekend, yet I have picture after picture after picture of deer all night long last night, all this morning, all yesterday afternoon, tons of them. So because he's in a shitty spot and there's no deer, it's my fault. But so the point being is, he said that I am a piece of shit. I'm the worst sportsman he's ever met. Blah, blah, blah. I have no respect for anyone. I'm a trespasser. I'm a poacher, etc., so on and so forth. And I'm like, I hope he finds out about whiskey and whitetails, and I hope he posts on Facebook, because I'll get him for slander, because I think everyone here knows that that's the opposite of the truth.
Yeah.
I would not have gone out there. I just wouldn't have, period. I'm also, you think I want to go get shot? I'm a fucking veteran.
Who wants to go purposely put themselves in a situation where firearms are involved? And
hell no.
it just doesn't seem.
I wouldn't have gone on that property if I knew Zach was hunting out there with a rifle anyway. With a bow, I probably still would have. But dude, it's only 50 acres and most of it's swamp. Like, you really think I'd go out there if I knew there was a guy out there with a weapon? I don't think so. But no, so he still is in possession of all my shit. He has about $1,000 worth of hunting equipment. Yeah. Of mine. And my camera sitting on it's in his garage now because he moved it, and I got a picture of his garage door opener. He's such an idiot. If anybody learns anything from this, careful taking other people's trail cameras. Yeah. Because they might show up at your door. I'm not going to. I have zero desire to. Yeah. But
I wouldn't either. But
I hit up Zach this morning and I said, hey, so the guy's like, Zach texted me and said, so this has turned into a thing. And I'm like, I don't care. Make it whatever it needs to be. It doesn't matter to me. I didn't do anything wrong. And I think that's plain to see.
It's a gross misunderstanding that this guy's blown way out of proportion.
Yeah. And he would never give me the opportunity to speak. If he would have let me talk, we probably could have squashed all this. But one, I'm not going to yell over a grown man acting like a child. No, and two, he was past the point of being able to even have a conversation. I mean, he was literally a lunatic. And it's funny. I'll tell you some of that later. But there's some stuff I'm going to tell you not on here. But
yeah, gotcha.
I don't know what's going to come of this, but I will say, if I don't have my shit back, it's supposed to be today. You know why he couldn't get it to me today? Take a wild guess. Today's Sunday, by the way. Guess why he couldn't get it to me before right now?
I don't know.
He's at church. Yeah, of course he is. Praying with God and being a good Christian. He's, he reminds me of a lot of Christians I know. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, so he's at church right now. Can't get me my stuff, which is fine. Is what it is. But I'm very curious as to see what comes of this. I am going to get my stuff back. I can tell you that. If I don't, I'm going to press charges for theft. I'm definitely, if he says anything about me anywhere and I find out, which he already has, I already told you about one of them. Slander right there, libel. I mean, And I'm not a suing kind of person, but this guy needs to be taught a lesson. He's a
For sure.
he's out of control asshole. I mean, there's
He
just
sounds like a typical good old boy that's from around there. He's gotten through his entire life through making a scene and
yeah,
being loud and obnoxious and intimidating people out of situations. And it sounds to me like he's found a match.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's just I'm petty, and I'm not petty like in a way that makes me sound stupid. I just mean like if you mess with me hard enough, I mean, fuck, dude. I mean, I have his address. I mean, I'm not going to go over there.
Yeah.
That should show the amount of restraint that I have. That I haven't done nothing to him. I've been in contact with him. I know I know everything about him at this point. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I haven't looked anything up, but I could very easily pull tax records. I don't even for sure know his name because I don't care. I just want my stuff back.
Right.
But to me, it was just mind blowing that you would
Who's
talk to someone that way.
is Zach kind of mediating getting your stuff between the two
Yeah,
of you?
and Zach's being very nice to him, and he's just being apologetic, which means this guy thinks that he's in the right
Yeah,
100%. He thinks that I am the evilest person on the planet.
sure. Well, that
When in
sucks.
reality, I had no idea this guy even existed.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he learns a lesson somewhere along the way here.
Well, I do know that he's going to give me my stuff back. This is
Well,
something that should
I
have been
believe it.
discussed way before August 15th.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It should have been communicated. Like, I'm surprised in the age of technology too. You guys didn't have a group chat with everybody. Like
Correct.
you, Zach, the owner, so that the information was just being shared amongst everyone.
I'm going to guess that the owner was under the impression that Zach was allowed to hunt out there with a guest, and
Hmm.
that's the end of it. I don't think he realized that we were taking that serious and that we were putting stuff out there, and I was hunting whenever Zach could hunt.
Yeah.
Because I was never told I could go out there without him, which this is probably the second time I've ever done that. But again, without reason for putting out cameras of corn.
Sure.
But yeah, the intention was to go get my stuff. I would have never, I don't know what to think about it. I don't know where the miscommunication was, but clearly I've learned a lesson about being careful with the property you're given permission to hunt. Like I should have gotten something in writing that I could have kept in the truck and been like, "Excuse me, sir, wait 1 second," and I will go. And I still would have called him sir because that's who I am as a person.
Yeah.
Let me go get a piece of paper that shows that I have permission to be out here. Obviously, I did not have that, so lesson learned on my end that word is not always bond,
No.
which is unfortunate to continue to learn that lesson. But
Right.
it's also hard to ask people that are hooking you up for, well, can we put this in writing?
Yeah. Yeah, but also, it prevents things like this. Like I had a friend of mine, my father-in-law, got me hooked up in North Carolina once to hunt one weekend, one Sunday morning. Happened to be in town, or Saturday morning, whatever it was. Permission to hunt on a friend of his property, and he asked me to sign a waiver saying that if I got hurt on his property, I wouldn't sue him. And I was like, "Yeah, of course, like no problem." But
Yeah.
like I imagine that was probably an awkward thing for him to have to ask a complete stranger. But
Yeah.
in today's day and age, like I don't blame him, and I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah. Yep. I just it's really unfortunate when you meet a hunter like that. And I mean, I don't really know what's going to come of this. But I really hope that this guy comes to his senses and he's like, the problem is there's no way for me to talk to him. I'm not going to reach out to him at all. I mean,
Yeah.
and Zach is just trying to hold the fronts, like keep everybody happy. You know what's funny about the landowner? He's aware of all of this. You know what he said?
What?
Okay.
Figure it out.
He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care at all. But this guy's like, I'm changing the gate codes because he told me to do it ASAP. And this, it's like, he didn't say shit. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit about hunting. He doesn't even understand why this is a problem. He's like, I don't care. Keep it away from me. Like, I gave you permission to use the land. Everybody just calm down and figure it out.
Yeah. He doesn't care. He just wants to sell it.
Yeah, he wants to sell the land.
Oh man, what a mess.
Yeah, it is a mess. And I want my stuff back because that's it. And I don't understand why it's taken now 3 days for that to happen. My camera's still up. He knows where it's at. And I've got deer all over camera. So I didn't ruin opening weekend as he claims.
Sure. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you did or didn't ruin. That's subjective.
Right.
And based on when you arrived and went out there, you had no reason to believe.
You can't see it, but
you,
that's his garage door opener.
yeah, I can kind of see it. You had no reason to believe that you no longer had permission, or that any of those circumstances had changed. You were
Correct.
aware that another individual had been given permission to hunt.
I didn't
And
know that.
oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, I thought you. Yeah. I th- so yeah. So you showed up out there to grab stuff like you normally would, whether you were
Yeah.
putting out corn or not. What a mess.
I just came to get my sticks. I mean, I was in work clothes, and by work clothes,
Right.
I don't mean like working in the yard clothes. I mean like nice clothes that I'm not trying to get sweaty and dirty.
Sure. It should have been pretty apparent that you weren't out there to
I
hunt and ruin anybody's day.
I said that at one point. I was like, do I look like a poacher to you, or I look like a guy who just got off work and he's coming here to get something? Like, why would I drive all the way back here if my stand? I'm telling you where my tree stand is, right
Yeah.
there. Why would I drive all the way back here if I was hunting?
Don't come at somebody who's angry with logic.
Yeah. It didn't matter because I couldn't even get that sentence out. He was like, he just kept screaming, he doesn't give a fuck. And, I'm telling you, I feel sorry for that man's kids. I can tell you that, because if that's the way he treats people, shit.
Yeah.
I bet, you know what I bet? I bet he's like a corporate cuck that like got his way by being an asshole and like
Probably.
finance. And then the entire world's like, hey, he's a bull. He'll go out there and get it. Yeah, because he just over talks everybody and forces people and like, well, this guy's not going to shut up unless I just sign this deal.
Yeah,
That's what
he's a
he
bully.
reminds me of.
He's a bully.
He's 100% a bully. He looks like Tucker Carlson, but like a dick, like a dickhead Tucker Carlson. That's what he looks like. Allegedly.
Allegedly. All of that allegedly.
All of it allegedly. Yeah.
Well, I hope it blows over.
I hope you guys enjoy that story, because my lawyer told me not to tell it.
And to be fair, I think you only told the pertinent parts.
I mean, I told you what happened when I was there. I haven't really said anything. I mean, shit happened. That is what happened when I got there. Guy acted like a complete lunatic, and I left. I never touched him. He touched his firearm twice before I finally was like, this is starting to get uncomfortable. If he had, I'll tell you what, this is, and I probably shouldn't say this either, but had he been within 4 feet of me the first time he touched it,
yeah,
he would have gotten hurt. But the problem is, I calculated that, let's say he practices in a mirror, which I know he doesn't. But let's say he practiced his left-hand draw, because he's left-handed. Because I'm guessing he's a real fucking idiot if he's right-handed and his pistol was on his left-hand side. But let's say he practices his left-hand draw in the mirror, and he's pretty good at it, which I know he doesn't. But let's say he does. You got to consider every avenue before you make a decision like that. I'm pretty sure he could have drawn on me and gotten from waist up before I got to him.
Yeah.
I figured at my distance, if I could close that distance 2 feet, I could have gotten to him kneecap. He probably would have pulled out and his pistol would have been ground to kneecap, which I would have been fine with that because I got a med bag in my truck.
Well,
just
the number
have to react.
The number of people who practice and are efficient enough to draw that quickly and that tight of a space,
right,
is pretty like, we're talking single digit percentage in this country, if not smaller. That's like
why
half
I
a percentage. So
really worried about it, but
also it's those who are untrained and don't have any sort of not marksmanship, but Jesus, self-control and discipline, who are the most dangerous people with a fucking firearm to begin with.
Yeah. I don't know. You have to prove that, like, you're in fear for your life, and I can tell you without a doubt that I was fearful of what was about to happen. I really, really thought he was going to lose his cool and just snap and pull his weapon out, and I would have had to react. I don't care who you are, you're not pulling a gun out in front of me. It's just not happening.
Yeah, the first time, I don't know. I guess I don't know that I would have not gone to my vehicle to get my gun and put it in my waistband after the first time he started screaming and yelling.
Yeah, I didn't want to put my back to him.
Or after the first time he touched it, I mean.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, do you give up the space and the proximity you have?
Well, I would have been safer behind my front wheel, because the way he was positioned, he would have been shooting through my engine, which wouldn't have hit me. So I don't know. I just know that he was acting so irate that I was pretty sure this was going to end up in either a fist fight or at worst a gunfight. I did not
Sure.
think that it was going to, fizzle out like that. I mean, he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
that. I'm telling you, I've never met an asshole like that ever in my life. Ever.
That's a laugh.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's my story. And, yeah, I might give you a couple other details about things that have been told to me about him from other people since he's been running his fucking mouth to people and they've contacted me. But
It is a small community.
it is, man. If you hunt in Charleston area, it's very possible we know some of the same people. And you start making Instagram or you start making text threads with people about look out for this asshole. They're probably going to end up knowing me. So
Yeah. Well, I hope it all fucking works out and peters out to be nothing. Yeah, shitty way to start the year off, but what are you gonna do?
Yep. I just want my stuff back so I can hunt.
I hear you.
And I'm not trying to start anything. I literally just want my stuff back. All right. I think that's it. So I've got a bunch of venison meat that I'm going to turn into jerky today.
Ooh, fun.
It's a ground jerky. I bought a jerky gun. So I've always wanted to play with that.
Oh, cool.
Throw some in the dehydrator, see what happens.
Yeah. Let me know how it goes. I've toyed around with buying one of those. I never have.
Well, you can borrow mine if you ever want to.
Sweet.
Especially the jerky gun. I have no reason to whole time own a jerky gun. It's stupid.
Cool. All right. Well, folks, hope you enjoyed the story time.
Yeah. Have a good one.
All right. Bye.
Drinking whiskey.